On the belief of God, Pascal said you can either believe in God or not believe in God. If you believe in God and God exists, then you would inherit eternal life. If you believe in God and God does not exist, at least you would have lived an honest life. Some people might say the life you live if God does not exist would be a boring life, but at least it would have been an honest life, living peaceably with man. According to Pascal, if you decided not to believe in God and God does exist, you would be eternally lost. If you decided not to believe in God and God does not exist, you'd have lived, according to Pascal, you'd have lived your best earthly life of pleasure, not necessarily pleasing with man, but you would live your earthly life filled with pleasure. So, according to Pascal, it's actually weighed more to believe in God to inherit eternal life, because what really is earthly pleasure? And if God does not exist, it would weigh more to live an honest life and a life pleasing with man. Eternal life and a life pleasing with man is greater than any earthly pleasure, or it might be a life living peaceably with man, even if God does not exist, might be worth or might be a life of pleasure itself. So it makes more sense to believe in God, according to Pascal, because eternal life, the possibility of eternal life, the chances of eternal life, is greater than any other possibility that you could have inherited. But here are some things to consider. Some people are motivated by pleasure in a short-lived life. So, some people might want to not believe in God in order, and eternal life might not mean anything to them, and they wouldn't care if they would be lost eternally if God does exist, because a pleasurable life might weigh more to them than any belief in God. According to Pascal's wager, would God accept you? Here's a question: is whether if God accepts you because of a possibility of reward, what kind of God would that be? How does this make God look? Right? If he only accepts you if you do things that are pleasing to that God itself. Another thing to consider is, does God and this wager transcend all religion and people? Because if it doesn't apply to every religion, only specific religions will be saved, and other religions can go ahead and just live as they decide, or the people could go ahead and decide, just live as they like, a life that is pleasing to them, because they would just not be saved. And also, what really is a belief in God? What does that entail? Following anything that is recorded in some kind of holy book, say for example the Bible? What really is a belief in God according to Pascal's wager? These are just some things to consider. But here it is before you: a belief in God according to Pascal's wager, or a belief in not in God, or not believing in God according to Pascal's wager. And here are the possible outcomes according to this wager.